Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today, this person I'm gonna interview today is probably gonna be the longest person that I've known that I will actually have on the show, apart from if I have my mum on, do you know what I mean, which I doubt that'll happen. So I'm going to introduce you all to fine young gentleman now. Yeah. Yeah. Thomas Kearns, how are you, pal?
I'm good, Carl, I'm good.
You're
old.
Right.
I wouldn't say young, old.
So again, we spoke briefly
Yep.
before the podcast. Again, nothing to say that, and you know that I've got one question for you. At the end, you can ask me a question. You know that this whole setup is not about glamorizing any past lifestyles or anything like that. So I'm going to get straight into it, if I'm honest with you. And my first one question that I ask everybody, and everybody seems to find it very difficult, but the question is, who are you?
So, yeah, it's a good question, that is.
It gets everybody. You're not the first person that's it. And again, I don't tell anybody what the question is. They just know they've got
I've seen the one with Phil.
Oh, so you knew?
Yeah, I know. Since I've seen the Phil, I'm like, oh, sugar.
By the way, you can swear.
Can I?
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
okay. So, I'm a recovering addict. Been addicted for 41 years. Loads of different stuff. Started sniffing glue when I was 8. To now. So I'm not just a recovering addict. I'm not a 12-stepper. I don't do the 12-step meetings. Okay. They work for some people, but I like facts, me. I like the way the brain works, dopamine, oxytocin. We were talking about GABA earlier on.
Yeah.
Mate, I swear to God, my head, I got ghost pimples when we were on about that, because we know each other like that, and then you're talking my language, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that you were into this type of stuff. But yeah. So I'm all about facts. I do a lot of, I volunteer for Forward Leeds. I'm a sustainable recovery volunteer.
Okay.
As much as they want me to work for them,
not blowing your own trumpet though.
No, I don't want to work for them. However, I've said that I'll take employment because I've got. So there's a new miracle drug which we were talking about, the Bubadel.
Which we'll get into. We will get into that. Definitely get into that. Yeah,
because this is where the Lero comes in.
Yeah.
So so what I do is I point and help people to rehab. So if somebody comes in and they tell me that they believe in God, right, 12-step.
Yes.
Somebody comes in and they go, oh yeah, no, I'm not religious, I'm not into that. Right, smart recovery, therapeutic community.
Okay.
So SMART stands for self-management and recovery training.
So would you say in that sense it's more like a coordinator role?
No, it's hard to explain. So when somebody walks into Kergate, there's only one minute. I'm repeating what other people, what the staff have said. There's only one Tommy Kearns down, and that's
100%.
I'll
say that, and it's not even not about Forward Leeds either.
There's Seacroft, you've got Armley, and then you've got Town.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, man, we've got the best. We've got Tommy, man. The other hubs don't have one of yours. Because when people walk in, I like to make people feel relaxed. Smile goes a long way. You know what I mean?
Do you know what else I think goes a long way as well? Especially knowing you, is the lived experience model that you bring. I think that's one of the key things. That's probably why because you've got the 40 years of substance abuse of some kind, haven't you? So I suppose when you're looking into that element, you are ticking probably majority of them boxes, apart from the new craze of whatever substances are going on. You are ticking a lot of their boxes. However, I do want to take you back in time. Now, obviously, you're not going to remember being born.
No.
But I would like you to take me back to early childhood memories, and then within your family environment, and then all the way through till the end of primary school. Tell us about that area of your life, that kids' home.
So I grew up Gibson, went to Oak Tree Middle.
Oh yeah, because you're part of the old school. So you went to Oak Tree Middle from 9 years old, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was in Dorset Primary, then from Dorset to Oak Tree, and then got my mum fled domestic violence.
Okay.
And then we ended up in Richmond Court, Women's Refuge. And then because I was a little Torag, I was glue sniffing as well, because I didn't like what was going on at home, you know what I mean? So I ended up in Shadwell because they were like, nah, man.
So I'm guessing mum and dad weren't together?
No, man, my mum and dad haven't been together for years.
Since you can remember?
Yeah, man.
So within your family home, is it just you and your mum, or is there...
So there's me, Wayne, Richard, God bless him, R. Ashley, God bless him, Fiona and Nicola.
Okay. So you're quite a big family?
Yeah.
Or like brothers and sisters, should I say?
Yeah.
At that time?
At that time, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I know one of your brothers.
Yeah, Richard got stabbed to death in 2003. This is why I do a lot against knife crime, and then I do a lot for suicide awareness, suicide prevention, because my littlest brother decided he didn't want to be here no more, so he committed suicide in 2021. Hung himself at Roundy, and left behind a little girl, which was the start of this relapse. But then I don't like to say silver lining, but if I won't be here, if it won't.
Well, I'll touch on that, because that's where the realms where we go down when we start talking about past. So from there, you're a little Torag, you're glow sniffing.
Yes.
And then, so at what stage do you go? Because obviously Shadwell Home is no longer around no more.
No.
So what age do you go to Shadwell Home?
9.
All right. Okay. So you're in middle school. Yeah. You just started middle school, aren't you? Really? Yeah. Or you're already there? So, you started at 9 to 13.
Yeah. I was in middle school. So I went to Shadwell. Shadwell had their own school. I was in the Shadwell school for a bit, and then they were like, oh. So my mum, because she was bouncing around all Women's Refuge, she ended up down Chapel Sam.
Okay.
And so then I ended up at El Cowper.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
did all the children, did you all go into a home?
No, just me.
Just you? Okay. You're the oldest?
Yeah, and second oldest. Because I liked nicking cars. I like doing what other kids didn't like to do. You know what I mean? So things piques my interest. I'm like, it's like Fort Knox. I was like, this is going to sound wild. And I was talking to my son about it. I was 20. I used to go through a stage as a kid of finding buildings which were impossible to break into, but then I'm breaking into them. And I'd be like, feeling like I just climbed in a window and climbed back out.
Yeah,
stupid shit like that.
There was nothing behind it. It was the challenge.
Yeah, it was the challenge. Go on.
So you're at El Cowper, and is that because your mum's living in Chapeltown? It makes it easy because you're travelling from Shadwell Home.
So we're going on weekend leave, and then going to school on a Monday morning, and then back to Shadwell.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So in all that time, you're still in the home. So when is there a time where is there a period where you leave Shadwell Home and you go back home to mum?
No.
So you stay in Shadwell Home. So I'm guessing then you progress on to the likes of like Eastmore.
Okay. Yeah. So
because what people won't remember is you had Eastmore, but then you had Secure.
Eastmore Secure. Yeah. I didn't go to Eastmore. I just straight to Secure because I went through a stage of doing like really bad graphs, and people like 12-year-olds, and you're doing ARs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is that because you was easily influenced?
Yeah. Of course, definitely easily influenced. Well, everybody that were in Shadwell, all the kids, they were all easily influenced. So all it took was somebody from the outside going, right, I've got this. There's a petrol station, let's start there. And then we moved on to post offices, and then opening branches. Opening branches. You know the thing about opening branches, there's no money in them. It's just an opening branch. Yeah. So it's self-explanatory. So we were clever, we were geniuses, because we were opening branches, scaring everybody for no apparent reason.
Wow.
Yeah. But it were grown-ups. It were all grown-ups, you know what I mean? We were all early teens, and then, 11, 12, and then you had like
the 16s, the 15s.
No, man, the 19, the 20s.
Oh, wow.
From outside of Shadwell. Or like, which at the time I didn't really get into it that deep with them. You know what I mean? I was like, right, okay, if something didn't feel right, I was gone. But apparently with other people, it was different. You know what I mean? And it was years down the line that I found out some really bad stuff.
I mean, back then, you see, a lot of people, because now obviously there's the emphasis on grooming, and now there's a big emphasis whether you're talking about grooming gangs or you're talking about kids being groomed into selling drugs. But what people don't realise is the grooming was going on for a very long time. Even when we were kids, there was olders that would groom you.
1989, man.
Yeah, that was grooming you into it. So from there, obviously, you're doing bad things.
Really bad things.
So are we saying from there, because I remember you saying earlier you were talking about glue sniffing. So that would have been
in Shadwell, yeah.
So that was Shadwell times. Okay, so from there, you've gone into the secure units. And secure units, just for anybody that doesn't realise, secure units now are more for serious crimes and vulnerable young children that they believe wouldn't be able to survive in prison or young offenders prison. Whereas I don't think that was the case when we were younger. I don't think it was down to being vulnerable.
It was the age.
It was down to the age.
Yeah, I locked up at 12. You can't go at any time. They want young offenders for 12-year-olds.
No, they won't.
So this is why I end up in secure unit.
Yeah.
And then what it was a case of, if they wrote you a letter, if you got a letter from Home Office saying that you could go back there after sentencing, then you were happy.
Yeah.
And I loved it then, mate.
Yeah, because what you find is a lot of people that ever went there on remand stayed there throughout the whole sentence.
Because they applied.
Because they applied for it, and because it was already there and they weren't causing no trouble, then most people did get to stay at the secure unit, which in one sense kind of works against it, although it is giving you a chance because it's saving you from going to prison. However, the secure unit doesn't actually deter you because you don't get that taste of prison, if that makes sense. Or would you agree?
It's more of a family environment in the secure unit, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a lockdown family environment. And if you know it, you got your time out, haven't you?
Yeah.
Mate, I spent many years, I hated time out so badly. It was really, really bad. Mate, they took the windows out. So it was like a cell window, but with nothing behind it. It was just fresh air outside. There was nothing in it. It was just an empty room. And they put you in there with a big steel door if you kicked off. So I went in there once and I never went back in again. And that was enough to deter me.
Because you used to be able to gain things, couldn't you? So I remember you could have posters.
I was just thinking about that, So that's number 11.
Yeah. So it would start with, then you have a TV, you get radio, then old clothes, then it'd be posters.
Stay up till 11 o'clock at night.
Stay up till 11 o'clock at night. But what people didn't realise is there's quite a mixture of people within secure units in there. There's young people that have a lower mental age.
Well,
do you know what I mean? And the other thing about it was...
No one in your unit.
Yeah, so, and the thing about it is some of these people that are in there with you are in for sexual offences because of their mental age. And they're in the secure unit with the, you know, the boys that are Jack the lads that are in for violence or... Well, yeah.
But I will say this. The person that was in your unit with you guys... He's got to be one of the most dangerous people that I ever come across in my life.
Yeah.
It were a big, you know...
It was a lump.
15-year-old mate when he was 6'3", about 17.5 stone. He had hands like shovels, mate, and if he caught you, he caught you.
Yeah.
But it was dangerous because he had like that super strength. Yeah. And this is why whenever we went swimming, I never went swimming.
Well, the only person, from my remembrance, the only person I could remember that could ever control him was Big Bird.
Yeah.
Big Bird Cavendish was the only person that could actually get a grip of him and go, oi.
Because he was big and mate. I'm glad I want in York House, mate.
Yeah.
He's literally...
Mate, he kicked a metal door off.
Mate, exactly.
He kicked a metal door off. And I can vouch for that. There was a rumour saying that he did it. 1,000,000% he did.
Getting ghost pimples now, thinking about that. Look at that.
Yeah, 1,000,000% he did.
He came from Four Patch Grange.
Okay.
Four Patch Grange, horrific child abuse went under, horrific.
Yeah.
And he was one of the victims that got bullied to death by staff. And then, so it was like, he evolved. I think, because I'm a big about evolution, so he evolved into a unit for protection, and he become a unit because nobody messed with him.
No.
When he didn't have his medication and he kicked off, it was like everybody run.
Yeah. It was that bad. In fact, most staff would put all the kids and go, right, listen, you need to go. You'd get moved onto another unit.
Yeah, man.
And he'd be on the unit by himself until he'd calmed down. Honestly, like I'd never met. I mean, well, you know, we're going back in time, and you're like 14, 15. Well, no, yeah, you're about.
Do you know why I'm chuckling? Because the kid scared the life out of me when they were a child.
Yeah,
but it took 4 or 5 members of staff to control him.
Yeah.
And I'm chuckling because I went in swim baths and he'd got a bit and I was like, "Nah, man, I need to get out of here." And then I got into trouble because I wouldn't get back in the swimming pool. Yeah. I'm like, "No, man, he's too close."
Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, at our age, anyway, it wasn't normal for somebody that big to be that big. It wasn't. I never. Yeah. Oh, so we're doing secure unit now. So we're
touch and pass, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're in the secure unit. So talk to me about that. Obviously, you get released from secure unit.
Yeah, we're let down. I don't know about released. So they got me my own place. With the property belonged to some wonderful guys, Merlin and Matt, some local decorators from Chapeltown. I were in one of their properties, and I don't know, it just went right. So I was still stopping at mum's, but then I started seeing this girl, started sneaking into her gaff, and then started to do some more burglaries because I was bored. I'm like, what is going on here? Things were so much easier when I were getting told what to do, when I was in Shadwell, when I was in secure unit. Things are a lot more easy now. I've got to live in a big bad world. How do I get locked up? How do I get back in a place like that?
Because what people don't realise is when you are released, you are just released.
Just released, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, here's a couple of pots and pans. And that's literally what it was. The social services went, here's a couple of pots and pans. Because I was on a care ordinance until I was 18. I got out when I was 16, they were like, right, there you go, pots and pans. There's your rent, there. And I'm like, okay.
So the cycle begins.
Yeah, man, just burgle, bumping into people, introducing to our Wayne's mates, and then going out with them. And my new love were nicking cars. I was always burgling houses as a kid. It was never my real. Bear in mind, I'm not glamorising it. I used to break into people's houses just to get fed.
Yeah.
Run away from Shadwell. There'd be like 15 of us on from Shadwell, break into people's house and that just to get something to eat.
Not even to steal anything.
No, man, just to stealing food. Because we used to sleep in paper bins at Port Park. We'd climb in paper bins, and shoot, move, make a big den, and then just climb into it and then put newspaper over top of us, put a box on top of us, and then go to sleep.
Wow.
16 of us in a paper bin, and then we used to go out and like, right, okay. So if we see a car move away from an house, they've just gone, right, okay, we're breaking into the house. I know I'm just chuckling, but I'm not laughing at the actual thing. It was just, we'd been caught because one of the lads, he'd left fish fingers on and smoke alarm went off, and then fire brigade came and his fingerprints were all so, yeah. When I eventually went back, it's like I stopped at a famous rugby player's house because his little brother was in Shadwell with me, so we used to go stop at his gaff.
I actually think I know who that is. I think I know who that is. Black guy.
No.
Oh, right. We don't need to say no names. I just thought it was certain person.
So he used to play for Leeds, and then he went to Leeds RL, and then he went from Leeds RL to New Zealand. So All Blacks. So yeah, I stopped crashing on his car. The funniest thing about it, he used to give us clean clothes to put on. This is like a 6'8" geezer, you know what I mean? And I was always small little skinny thing, and I've got these big,
34 waist,
38 something, man. Yeah, like that. Trying draw strings and then tying them round and.
Oh dear. Now, at the beginning, you did speak about your substance misuse.
Yeah.
So again, we've gone through early childhood where it's all about children's home, innit? Basically, in and out of children's home in Shadwell. Then you end up in the secure unit, regardless of whatever crime it is that was committed, or for your own safety, or because you was vulnerable. You're then in a secure unit. You're then on a care order, you're released from a secure unit, and then obviously you're back to committing crime. So where does the substance misuse begin? Where does that bit start?
As soon as I got out, man, I started smoking weed again.
Okay.
It's the first time I'd really smoked it, and I thought, oh, it's not that bad, this. And then I gave a crazy white guy a lift from Hairsview.
Okay, yeah.
Crazy white guy with glasses. I get his 4 fingers, man. God rest his soul, he's passed away now, but I pumped into him. He asked for a lift to Moortown, give me a lift to Moortown, give me a bomb of whiz, and it was like, I was absolutely off my butt. It was bad. It took me about 5 minutes to get to Moortown, Sainsbury's and back. There, and then it took me another 5 minutes to get back in my mum's old Escort estate, which were hand painted orange. Yeah, it was really, really bad. And then I thought, oh, this is not that bad, that.
Okay.
And then a couple of months had passed. Then I started injecting, and it never dawned on me.
Are we talking amphetamines?
Yeah.
Okay.
It never dawned on me that real friends would have gone, "Nah, man, what you doing? You still get."
Yeah, because there's different ways of taking amphetamines. So there was bombing, which most people used to put it in a Rizzler. You put a little bit in a Rizzler, you roll it up, and then you bite the end off and swallow. Obviously, there was sniffing, which a lot of people did. Although people think people didn't sniff drugs until cocaine came around, but that's not true. And then you had injecting, which is the quickest way to get it into your system, isn't it? So you went from, I'm guessing, bombing directly straight to injection.
Do you know what it is? I felt, when you said that, then I felt a bit queasy. When you said you're biting the end off and then swallowing it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was, like a bomb, like a grenade.
That's what. That's why they called it bombing, wasn't it? So it was just like that.
So true fact, the bombers originally, little Dexedrine tablets, which were amphetamine, they used to give them to World War II pilots, and this is why they call them bombers. So they used to run night missions, and the damn busters, all them.
Because they had to fly low, didn't they?
They were all on amphetamine because they had to do the night missions. So what they didn't understand is when they were randomly dropping bombs on certain cities and that, getting the targets out of place because they'd been asleep, they'd been awake for 2 days with no sleep, so they give them more Dexedrine, here, take that. So then they were taking a bomb away and then going out flying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like you see, you like facts, don't you?
I do.
So when you're talking about injecting now, so how long does that go on for?
Went on for years, that did it. So it went on up until, when did I so there's 2 types of injecting.
Okay.
So I was injecting up until 97. No, injecting was until 97. 97 came along and I started on heroin.
Okay.
Which were wild because I just started smoking it. Well, no, I didn't start smoking it. Even though my teeth were fucked, I got a really bad toothache, and it was that bad that I got pliers to it, and then I smashed the tooth. And then I was selling at the time, which I got in fucking bite skin of my teeth. This is where I got none left. So I had a dig of heroin because somebody says, "Oh no, that's the best painkiller in the world." That is it. All right, cool. So I'm putting a 10 bag on, having 10 mil of it, which is the slightest in a pint. Having 10 mil, and that was it, best thing in the world.
And then the addiction starts there then. So you move from injecting amphetamines and you could say...
Well, I was injecting amphetamines and then smoking crack, but there wasn't an addiction for crack, it was just...
because they're kind of, when I'm just looking at that then, I'm going amphetamine, which is the buzz, the high, and then you've gone from that to the polar opposite, which would then be heroin. So, okay, so then...
Through pain.
So it started off with pain.
Just pain meds.
Would you say back then you had an addictive personality?
I was an addictive personality.
Okay.
But the worst thing about heroin is the only way to describe it, because I did in rehab you have to do a letter to addiction.
Okay.
So my letter, it was like a swarming, it's like a dirty mistress. The dirty mistress who's always calling you back.
Yeah.
So she's like,
I have heard this.
You see the mistress, and she's like giving you a hug.
Like, come back, just come back to me.
Yeah. I'll slowly kill you, but just let me hug you at the same time, and you'll love it. And she's right, you do love it. But at the same time, she's killing you. And so, I'm very emotional, me. So when I wrote the letter to addiction, I had to read it out to a group of peers. 12 peers I read it to, and I got really emotional because I'm like, wow, because reading my words and speaking my not just thinking
your written words as well.
Yeah, that's what it is. The written words, written word, what were in my head, and it's finally on paper, which took me about 4 weeks to do. You
can no longer deny it then, can you?
No, because everybody knows now. And I'm like, so I got really emotional.
Yeah. I'm just intrigued because obviously you know of previous people that I've interviewed as well, and some of them have done 12 steps. Like you say you haven't. So I
did 12 steps in 2009.
Okay.
Police wanted to interview me to do with Operation Polymer, to do with the
kids. That's to do with children's homes.
Yeah. Right, so okay. I was a victim. Well, I'm a survivor of that. Not a victim. I'm a survivor of that.
Okay.
So there was 20 of us.
And for the people that don't know about that, that's down to
sexual abuse in children's homes. Yeah.
Towards children in children's homes. Yeah.
So I was one of 20 victims. 4 we're like brothers and sisters because we all grew up in the same. 4 of them decided to kill the send and have to speak about it.
Yeah.
So that was it when I got that news, and then I had another lad come visit me. Like, I'm wanted by police. Why do I want to talk to me? And I says, "Geez, it's about this, man." And he's like, "I don't want to fucking talk about that, Tommy."
Yeah. Because a lot of people, a lot of people did play it down, didn't they? At the highest level, it was played down, and I think a lot of people train themselves to forget about it. But what they don't realise is the trauma that yourself and others went through.
This is why we're full on glow snipping.
Yeah.
Addiction helps bury that.
Yeah.
And so, with all that horrible shit, I went to rehab, did my interview. It broke me out, and I was in bits. I was doing all right. Then this company called Jordan Solicitors got in touch with me, and they says, right, we've got compensation for you here. And I'm like, and my head went, and I was livid, I was fuming. I went, no wonder fucking people's killing us then. And they went, we've got 34 grand. I went, keep it. I went, keep it. I went, that's blood money, man. How can you fucking offer somebody fucking money like that? I went, do you know the difference from the real people? Because the amount of claims, hundreds of claims have been made. I went, do you know how you know the real people? Because they're the people that don't want the fucking money. So
that didn't push you back in towards...
Yeah, man, I ended up relapsing.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck? And then I bumped into the person before I got sentenced. Really bad. Sorry, I'm getting worked up here.
No.
I got bumped into a person.
Listen, anybody watching this is going to understand somebody that's gone through sexual abuse being a vulnerable young person in a children's home around people that are meant to look after you and care for you.
Do you know the worst thing about it?
Sexually abusing you, then
the worst thing about it though, the police used to bring us back.
Yeah.
And the certain person, he used to always say it as well. Run away as much as you want, you're always going to get brought back to us.
Yeah. And so technically speaking, you're getting taken back to the abuse, aren't you?
Yeah. So in my head, it's like they're all pissing in the same pot.
And not only that, the thing about it is because you are recognised as, in a want of a better word, a little shit.
Yeah, a little cunt, man.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So they're constantly taking you back. But what they didn't realise is that they're constantly taking you back to the abuse that you're running away from.
Yeah, well, this is why they contacted me in 2009, D-Side Dickinson, because I had one of the highest absconding rates, 165 times in 12 months I absconded.
Wow.
From Shadwell. And then...
Wow.
This is... That's like, every time they brought me back, I was gone. But then... I don't even mind saying it, so much shifted, so my brothers went into care then. And I were able to swerve all this shit. I knew it was going on, I were able to swerve it. I'm like, what? Fuck up. I was gone. You know what I mean? Out bedroom window, jumped, gone. I went and Richard came in, I were on run. Somebody says, oh, have you got 2 brothers? I'm like, yeah, well, they're in care. I went, what? What unit are they in? Oh, they're in Martin House.
Yeah.
Like, what?
So Martin Phoenix.
Martin Fitzwilliam got a house in Lupton.
Yes.
So I had to turn myself in, didn't I? Because I know exactly what was going on. What we're going mate.
Well, you knew the potential of what could potentially happen.
But it's like I explained to Copper. As a kid, what you think to yourself, oh shit. You think the worst case scenario, 10 years old, right, it's going to happen to them. I need to go protect them.
Yeah.
So my plan was I'm going to go back to the kids' home and I'm going to run away with these.
Because it's the only way you can think of protecting
your and it's one as simple as that. So, and I don't mind. Bear in mind, let me just say, I've done a lot of work around this. Like shitloads of work. A lot of trauma-informed stuff. A lot of self-healing. All, you know, with some amazing people. One of them being a guy called Graham Hale. Absolute fucking mind wizard. You know, he's absolutely amazing. He engages with, he lets you know that you're all right, man. It's
he listens.
Yeah, man, he does, and it's not just that. It makes you feel empowered, and it's like, right, so this bad shit's happened, but it's all right because who would you have back then? Me. I'd have me back then. So you'd have you protecting you. Yeah, right. Okay, that's fucking. I think you'd fucking do a good job. And it's like, right, so it's affirming you. Like, bad things happen. It was not your fault. You were a kid. You know what I mean? I don't know what he did. Mind wizard. I don't know what he did to me, but
whatever he did, it's like X Factor in it. Don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you've got it.
Yeah, man, and he did. So I went back. Luckily, no happened to him. But this one member of staff, he did explain that he did like Arwen and Richard. So yeah, so that's when things started to happen. And I couldn't abscond again because all procedures were made. Locking the windows, putting better locks on the windows, making sure that my bedroom was checked before I went to bed.
You weren't on the bottom floor?
No, because there were only 2 floors. But yeah, man, so they were making sure that I were like literally stripped to my boxer shorts, put in my bedroom, and that was it. But
so when you got the message, the solicitor's message, you're saying that you relapsed. You relapsed. So when is the first day that you class as your rehabilitation? What is your first day?
2021.
2021, and that's been you since 2021.
Yeah, this is me since 2021.
Well, listen, I think many people have journeys in life, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And many people, you know, have their own trigger warnings, have their own trauma, and there's always something that leads somebody to somewhere, which then, whatever path that leads them to. And I think for me, I'm going to say me because I can't speak about the audience and other people, but I would say it would have been, most people would have thought that Tommy Kearns would have ended up on drugs because of the life that you've lived. Do you know what I mean? Because of the life that you've lived and what you've gone through from an early age. But one of the things that I think we do talk about, and we talk about what people have done to the families through drugs, and they talk about the harm that they've caused others, whether, because you know you've got the ripple effect, and you drop the pebble, you've got direct families, mums, dads, brothers, sisters, but then you've got the community, you've got your victims and stuff like that. So I'm surprised. I've
done a lot of I know I've done victim the victim awareness stuff. I did a letter.
Where you get the opportunity to speak to the victim and stuff like that. Which was it's like a restorative justice.
Yeah, and so I bumped into a guy, and this was weird. To me, it wasn't one of my worst crimes, so to speak, but
still a crime all the time.
Yeah, it was, man. I
know that you can't take away how the victim feels.
Yeah, I know. But I bumped into this guy in Lidl car park, and he said to me, I went, "You all right, Tommy?" And I'm like, "Look, I didn't." I'm like, "Oh shit!" I went, "Oh, you're all right?" And he went, "I got your letter." And I went,
"Oh wow."
Look, okay. He went, "You seem like you changed your life around." I went, "Oh, I have. It's been a long process." He went, "I forgive you." And I'm like, "Right, okay."
No better feeling there, is there?
At the time, it hit hard. So I went, "Right, give him a hug." And then I didn't even go into Lidl. I fucked off home. Didn't say a word all night. Went to 5 weights next day. Luckily, it was check-in. It was Friday when it was Tuesday, because I had men's group on Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Went into men's group and I started crying. I went, they're like, "What's up? You all right?" I'm like, "Nah." It's a happiness that I'm upset, but I don't know why I'm so upset.
I understand why you would, because again, you spoke briefly off camera of the reason why this one person did stand out.
Yeah, man.
And I get that. And it's not a situation where I would have it aired
good, man.
On here, do you know what I mean? But you have said off camera why. And do you know what it is? I understand, because some things live with you for a long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you never get the opportunity to say sorry, dear. It's a conscious thing.
Yeah, no, man, you're right. It's crazy. Because I lived in an empty building in town for 3 years, basically in St Anne's on corner. When I ended up on heroin. And that was one of the crimes, and it was just wild. I lived in a lift shaft.
Yeah. You've lived a life, Tommy, haven't you?
Yeah,
You've
man.
lived a life. So say you come out the other end.
I know,
You've got to be proud of yourself. But what I want to touch on.
Go on.
I do want to touch on, because, again, and you've often, throughout this conversation, you've seen Tommy smile, and I genuinely believe it's not smiling because it's funny. I think there's smile because of there's nervousness, and you think back, and some things they do make you smile, not because it's not towards being careless or not caring, but I'm going to smile now, because Tommy came up the stairs, and as soon as I seen him, we were out of breath, and I went, I was like, mate, bloody hell, I know them stairs. Excuse me, I know them stairs are bad. But the reason why I'm smiling is because that was my initial thing. But then when we sat down and you explained why you were out of breath, so like it's one of them for the audience basically to explain how your body is, how your body is now.
Right. So I'm on loads of meds. One of the highest in you can have. Last year my left lung collapsed. My left is the elasticity, because your lungs are elastic bags. Yeah. So went for a seat. Last year I just felt something really bad. So my right lung's still working and my left lung's just. So I went for I thought, right, I've got a really bad chest infection, got some antibiotics, still didn't work. Stopped smoking. Thought, well, this was about 18 months ago, stopped smoking. Went to hospital and they went, your left lung stopped working.
Wow.
So I've got COPD and emphysema. So I thought I could always beat it, me. But I can beat this, mate. It's just a fake news, but it's real. It's real. You know what I mean? So my left lung don't work. My right lung, there's only 75% because they took the top section out to do a biopsy. I've got an appointment in a couple of weeks to be put on more drugs. So I'm on 3 in the morning, 2 at dinner, 2 at tea, and 5, including my sertraline. My antidepressants, which are magic, on a night time.
Wow.
But yeah,
and that's for the rest of your life.
That's for the rest of my life. I'm blood thinners, because I've got this leg's bigger than this leg.
Wow.
For injecting.
So you know, we often speak about breaking points and turning points.
Yeah.
In people's lives that make that change.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you, what is the turning point where you go, like, because obviously at that time you heroin and you're injecting heroin. We're not going into the complications of how you're earning money, X, Y. Just forget all that. But you're on heroin, you're injecting heroin, you're using every single day. What is the bit where you go?
No, but that's the difference. That's changed. That's the old. So sorry, I didn't explain myself clear enough. So that was the old, that was 1998, then locked up for armed robbery 3 years. Then this time when our kid decided to kill himself, I know exactly what would fucking make me feel better. And it like a weird, horrible, nostalgic feeling. Right, I know exactly how to forget about this. So then ended up smoking heroin and crack again. Well, crack first and then heroin after. And then I went missing. My wife, Stephanie, she's like, oh shit, we need to phone police. She phoned the police. She posted it all over social media, all over Facebook. If you've seen Tommy, let us know straight away. He's missing. He's very vulnerable. He just
lost his brother.
Yeah, I didn't want to be here no more. I wanted to know why my brother why Arrested wanted to kill himself. I wanted to know why. He came to see me the week before. You know what I mean? We had a laugh, we had crack and that. And he kept saying, I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Why did you have to get? He went for last week. I went, mate, you turned up pissed and that. You wanted me to get on session. I didn't want to. It's all right. You don't need to say sorry, man. We're brothers, man. But he's like, yeah, no, but so when that happened, I needed to know why. So in an indirect way, I was trying to do my sending. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know why. Why the fuck would you do this? You
couldn't find the answers.
Yeah, because I was the only one in family that I could come and talk to.
Okay.
So I'm like, why wouldn't you think him, man? You know what I mean? Even now I still get wound up about it. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you just come and talk to me? You know what I mean? But the worst thing about it is, I had a missed call on my phone at 4 in the morning, and I didn't pay no mind. I didn't even know. So when I looked for, all right, okay, so I tried ringing, no answer, right.
And that was your brother?
That was right, Ashley, yeah, missed-called me, and then he killed himself at 5:30 in Roundy Park. Got his rope. It was an amazing roofer. Went and hung himself in Roundy Park. And I just wanted to know fucking why. So when I went to rehab...
did you blame yourself for that? You think... I mean, I don't know, but for me, I would have guessed...
I blamed his missus.
Would I think to myself, if I answered that phone when he phoned at 4:30, would he have still done it? There had to have been that.
Mate, that's wild, that, because once you've got an amazing missus, if you've got an amazing partner, you know what it is? I piss and moan me about my missus. I piss and moan, but I'm going to give her 20 years.
Yeah, she can't be that bad
25 years
now. She can't be that bad then.
Exactly, she's put with me shit, she's never had an addiction problem.
Yeah.
And I piss and moan about her, but I've got a good, and I went, oh no, fucking hell. And when my mum phoned me, and I'm like, I know that phone call, she gave me the same phone call, Christmas Day 2003, when she phoned me to tell me Richard had been stabbed to death. And I'm like, it was just a cold shiver, and I went, we need to go, Ashley. And she's like, what? I went, Ashley. And then it was only later on that day, and then I looked, I'm like, shit, I've got this call up, Ashley. And Stephanie went, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm like, do what? She's like, don't do that. I'm like, right, okay. And then I had to she brought me back into the present moment.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and so then I found out that, so I watched this guy, there's a guy called Joe Losting. I'm not religious, but I've got my daughter Natalie, her Nana Pam, who lives on Lewis Street.
Okay.
Leopold Street. She said to me, Nana Pam's praying for you, Tom. Nana Pam's praying for your dad. I'm like, all right, Natalie. And my first baby's mum, Diane Blake.
Oh, yeah.
Well, her eldest, that's mine. She's my daughter, Natalie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Pam is Diane's mum.
Right. Yes.
And she's like, she'll look at you, she'll see your soul, man. She's got a direct link with him upstairs. Okay. So, right, I needed to go see Pam. Went to see Pam, and she sat there eating the sunflower seeds. And she's going, come and sit down. You know what I mean? And she's in the most respectful way possible. She reminds me of the woman up at Tom and Jerry.
Okay.
So I'm sat next to her.
You're going back in time now.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm sat, and I just needed to see her because she's that woman who's got a connection with the guy upstairs. And I'm not just saying this, I genuinely believe that she has got a link to the guy upstairs. So what she says happens.
Yeah.
So she still prays for me to this day. And that's key, that keeps me going.
So is that your turning point?
That's my turning point.
Okay.
That's my turning point.
And again, we don't need to know what
rehab.
The conversation is.
No.
So then you go off, you're in rehab, and that's you, and ever since then.
But okay. Yeah, so it's not about, it's trials and tribulations.
Oh no, of course.
42 deaths in 3 years. 42 deaths. So the statistics are against us already. So
what makes you go into the work that you're doing?
Because I'm not a statistic. Everybody'd expect me to go, oh yeah, no man, no. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do something like that I've never done before. I'm going to try and do something which is going to be scary.
It's out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's in my stretch zone. We've got a comfort zone, we've got a stretch zone, then we've got free fall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, I'm going to try something. It's going to be scary as all. But as long as I keep winging it, and when I don't know something, I just ask.
But you're quite successful at it. Because you've done some talks.
Yeah.
Like I know that obviously we had to delay this because you were going to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And then after the Birmingham, you were going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you're about, I mean, you're doing good things, you're giving back, aren't you?
Yeah.
For everything that you've took, you're beginning to give back. And you've got to understand that I'm sure there's people out there whose lives you've literally saved. But.
So, you've had him on your show already.
Yes.
Chris Sylvester says the best thing. You've got to have hope.
Yes.
If you haven't got hope, you've got no man.
Yeah.
I'm not a 12-stepper, but Pam's got my back. I'm covered in that sense. But
because everybody has different ways of doing things. And again, through watching certain shows, I learn about the white knuckle. So most people would say, if you don't go into rehab, you don't do the 12 steps, you white knuckle in and X, Y, and Z. But again, for someone like you who's not a believer in God, then the 12 steps is not for you.
I'm a believer in God, but I'm not a believer in the 12 steps.
Ah, right.
Because
okay, sorry.
There's one of the steps. So with what I've just talked about as a kid in care, one of the things is you have to forgive people that hold you back. I'm not in a forgiving mood, me. To do with certain people, I'm not in a forgiving mood.
Understandable.
So that's why it didn't work for me.
I want to take it. I'm gonna ask you a question, and I often ask this question, and I usually get the same answer every time, if I'm honest with you. However, it's a two-part question, and the question is if you could go back in time, what would you change? And if there is anything you would change, why?
I couldn't even cross the road 5 minutes late. I've thought deep and hard about this because I've been asked this that many times. It's like I did the graduation speech and people were asking me afterwards, what if you could go back into? I couldn't change a thing. If I killed the butterfly, all that carry on, I couldn't, because would I have to go through the abuse? Yeah, of course I would. I'd have to do that. I'm eldest lad in my family. Of course I'd go through that again, man. It's my brothers we're talking about. I couldn't change out. I couldn't cross the road. I couldn't change a thing because it's everything that's brought me to where I am now. And if I changed anything, I could be dead.
So we're talking children's homes, we're talking substance misuse, we're talking sexual abuse, we're talking the complications with your health. You're saying point blank, all those things have led you to where you are now, and that's why you wouldn't change.
I couldn't change it. Let me just say something first though. The sexual abuse things that got twisted, and I'm going to say this, that got twisted in the early 90s. So people twisted that and thought that I was a perpetrator of it. But I'm not going to turn around and say, no, man, it was me that got fingered. Like, oh no, but they knew that there was something to do with sexual abuse and me. I'm not going to tell people that I was sexually abused. I'm a fucking grown-ass man. You know what I mean? That shit didn't happen to me. I was hardest in my unit. I had a problem with that. And this is why I never said out about anything. I used to get licks all the time. You know what I mean? One person in particular, every time he see me, he used to flog me. You know what I mean? And I hated him for it. But it was nobody's business. And this is what, even the licks, I wouldn't change. Would I have stopped and turned around and gone, listen, you want to know the full story? This is what happened. But I didn't, because I didn't want his business, and I didn't want anybody looking at me like I was a fucking victim. This is why I say I'm a survivor, man. I'm not no fucking victim.
You're not a victim.
As a man, you can't. It's that old that male mentality thing. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you tell somebody that it happened to you? Why would you?
Do you know what?
Back in 90s, why would you?
Do you know what? 1,000,000%. I understand what you mean.
Yeah, why would you tell?
Because I'm going back into. I have to speak on our generation.
Yeah.
And in our generation, there's never anybody that's going to come forward the way we was brought up and the areas that we was from is going to turn around and go, yeah, I'm a victim. They wouldn't do it.
Mate, exactly.
Now,
90s, mate.
They would now.
Yeah, it's different times now.
Different times now, but back then, I don't, hand on heart, I don't know anybody that would have turned around and gone, yeah, I'm a victim.
No.
Yeah.
And this one person, I still see him now and again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm dying for him to say something because I will fucking whoop him.
You won't, but anyway. So so what advice would you give to your younger self? Because that's not changing anything. You know what I mean? It's what advice would you give yourself?
That's a bloody damn good question, Carl. I'd say to me,
I mean, I'm not saying at what age you are. I'm not saying, I'm just saying the best advice you would give your younger self.
Take a bit of time, but it'll get better. It'll take a bit of time, but it'll get better.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
What more can you say?
I mean, I was always told, my nan used to say it to me all the time. She said, patient men ride donkeys.
Well, say that again.
Patient men ride donkeys.
because they're really slow.
Because they're really slow, but it will get you where you need to get to. Because you can get a plane, a car, motorbike, but if you get on a donkey, it's going to take you the longest to get there. However, you are going to get there, so have the patience. And there's a few things that stick out where you go.
Yeah.
However, there's a few people that come on the show that bring me gifts. And, you know, you get gifts that are promoting businesses, and you get gifts where, I mean, can I just say as well, what a chef, he's actually bought me chicken curry, curry chicken and rice. But the one that I'm impressed with the most is this. Now, again, you're not going to be able to see through the labelling, and you're not going to be able to make of it. However, I would, because before we finish, I genuinely want you, because I want to say thank you first of all for this, because do you know, some gifts that you get, sometimes the gifts are for you personally, whereas this gift is not actually for me. It's for me to save someone's life.
Yeah, basically. It is, man, yeah.
So what I would like you to do is to explain to everybody what this actually is. Right,
okay, so this is, it's an naloxone kit. You can't really see it inside.
Yeah.
So you've got, inside is a syringe with, it's a full syringe with naloxone in it. And it's got 5 shots, so it's got markers on the syringe. It's funny that, because at this, it's just popped into my head. You think I've got ADHD, that autism thing. But it's naloxone, and it helps. So if somebody goes over on heroin, to be honest, there were an horrible bastard going around town a couple of years ago, naloxoning people that were sat down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is fucking horrible. But it'll help save lives. And I'm trying, at this moment in time, I'm trying to get Leeds City Council to put these with the defibrillators. So
yes, it would make sense, because you'd have the code, you go in there and you'd have the pen as well.
Yeah,
okay,
because
it's just as important.
Yeah, it's because, you know, the defibrillators, you know why they post them around town? It's not because people have heart attacks, it's because of the spice epidemic.
Okay.
One of the things is to bring around.
So does this work as well with spice?
The entire thing will work, but then you might need another 3. Like I was talking to you earlier on.
Yeah.
I administered 5 of these, which that's 25 hits. There's 5 hits per kit, and you can get them from your drug and alcohol service. All you need to do is just walk in, ask for the harm reduction. You can do it forward leads. Ask for the needle exchange. Go into needle exchange and just say, have you got an naloxone kit? You know what I mean? It's even to a point where some lads come in for the jab, the needles for the steroids and stuff like that, and I'll just quickly grab them, you know, meatheads, and I'm like, whoa, what's up? And they're like, no, 2 seconds, just have a quick natter. So I'll pull them into a side room. We'll go, have you got your naloxone kit? I don't need that shit. I'm not a smackhead. No, you're not. But it's always good to have one. Like, but that just means carrying no, it doesn't. I'll get you the nasal spray. So you can have the nasal spray as well, which you throw up your nose and then you just spray it, and it's like instant. But this is instant. It goes straight into your blood system. You don't need to find a vein. You just stab it in somebody's ass and then press it.
Or leg.
Or arm.
I don't want to roll somebody over.
Yeah. Like what you do.
Yeah.
But it's the same.
Well, it would have to be bare skin, so you wouldn't do it through clothing, would you? You'd have to find bare skin.
I've done it through clothing.
Right, okay.
So it's like you've just said, you won't roll somebody over and pull the pants down.
Yeah.
And then it's safe to, because it's a blow-ended needle, it's safe to go through clothes.
Right, because you get blue, green,
orange, brown.
Orange, yeah.
It goes down in colour.
But it's to do with the size of the hole in the needle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's to do with the size of the. So this is about an inch, an inch and a half. So
well, I would advise people, if you can go down to Forward Leeds. I only know of one place where the Forward Leeds is, and that's Leeds Market.
That's where I am.
So maybe that's why it is. And yeah, so get yourself down, and there's no charge on that. It's free.
I know that it's free, but do you know what it is? Do you know how much these cost per kit? So this is why we can't just give them out willy-nilly. But if you come into Forward Leeds and ask for naloxone, we will happily give you one.
Okay.
The government pays 60 quid per kit.
Wow.
So that's 60 quid there.
Well, thank you to the government then, and Forward Leeds.
Mate, no, thank you.
no,
and
honestly.
Thank you to anybody that's going to use one.
Yeah, because you literally are saving someone's life.
Somebody's kid that. We were talking before earlier about dignity.
Yeah.
Getting goosebumps, look at me, stand on an end, man. So I've got 7 kids, me. Youngest is just turned 20. And I'd like to think that the amount of naloxone kits that I've given to people administered, I'd like to think that, and saving dignity, cover the person up. Yeah, if it's a female, you know what I mean, don't have to dress them up, take your clothes up, your jacket off and cover them and then give them it. Because I'd like to think if that were my daughter, somebody would do the same thing.
Yeah.
And this is why I got the Heroes Award. I came 2nd place in the Heroes Award.
Okay.
In the entire country.
Well done, you, mate. I didn't know. I didn't know that. Is that the thing that you went down to Birmingham?
No, that was drinking the DDN magazine conference because they wanted to do an article. Who's this Hep C guy? So I did. I was on TV, BBC Look North, talking about the non-medical drug for hepatitis C.
Yes. So
I was on that, and as well as I'm on the Way Through website. So if you go on Way Through or waythrough.org.uk recovery,
because a lot of you have all teamed up together. So Forward leads Way Through and
Touchstone's mental health.
Yeah, not Touchstone.
Humankind used to be Humankind. Forward leads, and then what happened is Richmond Fellowship, Aquarius, which is DV, and Humankind. They all merged.
Yes.
They all became one big conglomerate. So now it's called the Way Through, and so they wanted my ugly mug photograph. So yeah, it's me and an amazing guy called John, a baldy fella, chubbyish guy. He does a lot of work with helping get people.
There's some good people out there, isn't there? Including yourself. Including yourself.
I'm going to go that far, but amazing.
No,
this guy's amazing. This John guy, he helps people get rid of. So if somebody's changed their life around, but they've got a life football ban, he's the guy.
Right, okay.
He's the guy. So he can check on computer, oh yeah, you've been banned for this. How long ago was it? Right, you're in recovery now, it's changed life around. Right, let's see what we can do about that.
That's good.
Amazing guy.
So, my final question before you get to ask me yours, which I'm dreading. I'm dreading this one.
Mate, I can't wait.
My final question to you is how is life for Tommy Kearns now?
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's a lot less chaotic. Life, it's just life. You know what I mean? It's more right. I'm all right. I've got my big sister's in recovery as well now, and I'm so proud of her. Like really, really proud of her. I took her out for cream and cake earlier on. I phoned her. I phoned her. I went, "You all right, Fee?" And did you come out for a cuppa? She went, "Oh, I ain't not even dressed yet, kid." I went, "All right, we're going to take you for tea and cake." Nobody's. And she went, "Whoa." She went, "Right, I'll get dressed." So picked her up.
Everyone likes a freebie.
Yeah, man. Took her for tea and cake, and then we went charity shop hunting because I love a good charity shop hunt. And she found this big throw over, and she was like, "I can't take that home, but Apple go nuts." So I bought her it. I went, "Right, now you've got a reason to take it home."
That's good.
But yeah, life's good, man. Life's good. I've got my kids.
Life's different.
Life's amazing, man. My kids, my son, my kids are so raged, and I've got 2 beautiful grandkids as well, which I can't wait to see. I love them so much. They're in Disneyland at the moment. But
you're at that stage of your life now where you can actually enjoy life now. You have the opportunity to enjoy it now.
I'm addicted to food. I'm sorry, I'm addicted to food. Cheesecakes. Oh. There's a place at Market, man. They serve apple turnovers with fresh cream. I ain't seen them since 90s, man.
I was having a conversation with somebody about old school Duffs.
Yeah, Duff and custard.
When you used to get the old mint one as well. You used to get the mint custard, and I'm like, where's this mint custard gone now? Like, you don't even see it. You don't get it no more.
But so I'm going to prison as well.
Oh yes, you do. You go into prisons. You're working within prisons as well.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Yes, I'm working with a guy called Lee Sandylands. Amazing guy. Just been invited to his wedding. So we're going to. So it's this Wednesday coming. We've been allowed to go to HMP Hatfield.
Okay.
So we deliver a 6-week course. What I mean by 6 week is 6 times we're allowed into prison. Yeah. We deliver a course on understanding recovery and addiction. So we talk about different types of drugs, the difference between it's gone out of my head. It's
the classes, the effects.
It's the different types of downers and uppers type.
Oh, right, okay,
so it's like LSD is a
upper.
Yeah, No, it's LSD. It's much to do with something that affects the brain.
Okay, neurological.
Yes. So we talk about that, the effects of neurological and neural pathways. So for a new neural pathway to set root and then to start to grow, it only takes 21 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you stop smoking your vape, then what happens then is, so this is what I got taught.
Why are you throwing me under the bus like that? Like if you stop vaping?
No, man, I'm not. So,
you know the one kind of people I don't like is those that stop smoking.
Yeah.
Always got something to say about somebody. Do you know what I mean?
No, so what it is, when I was in rehab, when I went over in Littledale Hall meeting, the guy said to me, went, 21 days, and I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit, that I've Googled it, and he went, I know what Google says. He says, but Google's not living it, either. And I'm like, what do you mean? He went, you'll know what I mean, and I get it. So 21 days, it just goes boom. So then you do something after 21. So 21 days, you do something. So the only way to describe it is a bowling green, fresh green turf, ready for take. Walk across it. 21 days. If you walk across it 21 times, 21 days, whatever, it'll create a path, won't it?
Yeah.
That's the neural pathway. That's how the brain works with the neural pathway stuff.
So after 21 days of allegedly not vaping, I won't vape.
It's if you didn't vape, none of these cheekies. But yeah,
I get it. I do.
So
get it.
It's stuff like that we teach. We've just done HMP Lincoln, which is wild because Armley's full.
Yeah.
So I got asked to go into HMP Leeds on Christmas Eve just gone, which was really significant because in 2003, Christmas Eve night, our Richard was stabbed to death and had just been out of prison 2 weeks. So I'm like, right, okay, 2023, 2024, 23 going on to 24, I got asked to go into prison and I'm on Christmas Eve. So I went in to Armley and I said to the lads, I went, reason why I'm here is because this day, back in 2003, my brother was stabbed to death tomorrow. So I was stabbed at Christmas Eve, Christmas night, we were found. Christmas Day, we were found at flats at Lincoln Green. So this is why I'm here. And what's wild is I know the lads that we're talking to, they already know this. And they're like, how come you're here, man? What the fuck? And I'm like, I'm here because I feel like I need to be. It's easy to get complacent. I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want.
Yeah, I get it. Well, gosh, here comes the dreaded bit. So, as always, Tommy, I want to thank you for coming on. I do. And I'm going to thank you again at the end after. But you get your opportunity now. So you get your opportunity to ask me.
It's not bad.
Any question you want. Listen, it doesn't matter what it is, I'll answer it.
Right. So, Carl, because I know you, I've known you for years since we were kids. And you've always been that. Do you know the first time I remember you from? When we were all up at St. Edward's Church, when it was the youth club. Oh, yeah. It's where my mum lived. Yeah. And then you jumped in car and you all went down and there were me, a couple of others, and we all bumped into things at the corner shop up Chapeltown. Okay. You know what I mean? That's how far back I'm. So my question to you is this. When did you finally get your grown up head on and go, fuck this shit, I'm not doing this anymore? Oh, I thought you were going to come with a better question. No, man. No, because I might have worded it wrong. When did you think, right, okay, prison's not for me, I can't be asked with this shit? It was, again, I've spoken about it many a times. It's a letter from my mum. It's, obviously there were certain things going on. Certain people that was getting injured, people were dying. And yeah, my mum just wrote me a letter, and she was just general conversation. But then at the end, she just wrote, and a mother should never bury the son. It should be the other way around. So yeah. Yeah, no, man. Yeah, that's when you relinquish the nappies and you put your big big boy trousers up. Put your big boy trousers on. That's one of my favourite sayings. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's for me. And then I think getting into with the work that we're doing now, because I've been in this field since 2019 now. Bloody hell. So yeah, it's I'm just trying to
I'm trying to help young people, but people must, it's not about now, because I know of myself and I know that I wasn't ready to change for years. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to do is give young people the knowledge, educate them, demystify all these things that they hear, and give them a true reflection, so that I know that not everybody's going to change at the same time. However, what I want them to do is have the knowledge, so that when that time comes, instead of them starting to get ready, they already have the information. So they're not starting from zero, they're already starting about 15, 20 steps in front, because they've got the knowledge already there that they've saved.
I think the stuff that you're doing is I seen you'd gone to a school to talk about county line stuff.
Yeah.
And that blew my head. I was like, oh wow, no way. And it absolutely blew my head. And I'm like, and then I thought, there's a possibility that.
I think I know what you're going to say, but we'll talk about that off camera.
Yeah, no, but it is. It's.
I think in all, I think I don't know exactly, but I'm going to give a rough estimate. I reckon my assemblies, and if I was speaking of individuals, I reckon I've done between 100 and 150,000 pupils spoken to them.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's over a realms of different things. It could be knife crime, weapons awareness, gangs, county lines, joint enterprise.
County lines, that's what it is.
Do you know what I mean? There's numerous things. Like, we've got the list up there. If you look up there, we've got like 30 odd presentations that we deliver, which we know that nobody else is delivering. We know that factually, and that's just primary and secondary school. So yeah, that's the journey. That's the journey that we're on.
Proud of you, man.
No, proud of you, mate.
No, proud of you, man.
Because your journey has been longer and harder than mine.
No, man.
But listen, Tommy, I want to thank you for coming on, mate. Listen, I appreciate. No, I'm not going to make you get up. You take care. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on.
See you, man.
You too.